Hello. So today I want to talk to you about the keto diet. I get lots of questions kind of related to, various diets out there. And one of the common diets is the keto diet. So I want to just take some time to kind of touch the high points and some of the things to be concerned about with the keto diet. So, there's lots of different kind of weight loss diets that are popular, and the keto diet is one of them. There's other health benefits other than just weight loss that I want to talk about though, but really, it's a diet that's a low carb diet. There's some different kind of tweaks related to this, but it's kind of the removal of the carbs is kind of the foundation of a keto diet. So a keto diet consists of basically high amounts of fats and, like I said, minimal carbs. Uh, so what's going to happen is as you remove the carbs in your diet, you're going to have to convert to a different energy source or ketones. That's how your body's going to utilize fat to produce energy. And the interesting thing is in the keto diet, like I said, there are some tweaks, but the concept is low carbs and high fat. And often 90% of your caloric intake will be related to fat uh, metabolism and also fat intake. So if you think of it, your body really generates energy from basically two sources. It's either glucose or ketones, and you get the glucose from the carbohydrates like bread, pasta, rice. But the ketones are actually formed from fat, like butters, red meat, oils, things like that. But what's important to understand is in a keto diet, it requires you to eat a significant less amount of carbohydrates, and then also increase your fat and protein intake. We'll talk a little bit about the fat and protein, but really the concept is removal of carbohydrates and substitution of fat. And that can produce good results, but also there is negative consequences depending on the type of fat you're eating, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So there's different types of keto diets. There's the standard ketogenic diet that's basically very low carbs, moderate protein, and high fat. So usually it's 70% fat, 20% protein, and 10% carbs. But then there's also something called the cyclic ketogenic diet, and that really basically involves periods of ketosis and then also kind of high carbohydrate refeeds. So you may have, for example, 5 days of keto diet followed by 2 days of high carbohydrate diet. Another type of ketogenic diet is what's called targeted ketogenic diet. This allows you to incorporate carbohydrates kind of around a workout. And then another type is high protein ketogenic diet. This is similar to the standard ketogenic diet, other than you include more protein, and it usually contains 65% fat, 35% protein, and 5% carbohydrate. Now, really the standard ketogenic diet is the one that's really been extensively studied. And then the cyclic and the targeted ketogenic diet are really used often more for like bodybuilders and athletes. So when I'm talking about ketogenic diet, I'm really talking about the standard ketogenic diet, not these kind of other spin-offs. So how does the keto diet work? Well, like I said, you really don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. Your body's going to run out of glucose rather quickly in about 3 to 4 days, and so it has to switch to a different energy source, and that energy source is the ketone bodies, and so it forces your body into ketosis, and that's really a process where your body turns fat into energy. Now, ketosis only happens when your body has insufficient carbohydrates to burn for energy, so that's going to force your body to burn fat to form the ketones, which is a completely different source of energy. Now, this fat burning is something that does produce excellent weight loss. So that's one of the reasons a lot of people do a keto diet is for weight loss. But also it's important to understand that your liver is what produces the ketones, and sometimes getting your liver to produce ketones can be a little bit more challenging. So some things you want to really consider to really get your body into ketosis is, first of all, you have to remove carbohydrates. So people that are on a ketogenic diet typically eat less than 50 grams of carbohydrate per day. That's a significant reduction. If you actually are looking at your macros, you'll see that 50 grams of carbohydrates is not a lot. And then also, you need to understand that it takes a few days to achieve ketosis. So getting into ketosis can be a prolonged process. And if you just have one slip where you consume a lot of carbohydrates, it's going to quickly get you out of ketosis. So a lot of work to get into it, and it's real easy to get out of it. So another challenge in the diet. And then obviously, if your diet's more along the lines of excessive proteins versus fats, that can actually interfere with the production of ketosis. So what is it you want to eat and what do you want to avoid on a ketogenic diet? Well, things that you want to eat are like nuts, seeds, cheese, eggs, butter, cream, meats, fatty fish, healthy oils, avocados, and low carb vegetables like tomatoes and peppers. But the things you've got to avoid or minimize are things that are high in carbohydrates. So alcohol, sugary foods, beans and legumes, grains and starches, root vegetables, the unhealthy fats and low fats or diet products. These are all things that are going to interfere with your ketosis. And then fruit. You can eat a small amount of berries, but fruit in general is not something that's usually consumed on a ketogenic diet. So what are some of the benefits? Well, the obvious one that most people know about is weight loss. And the ketogenic diet has been shown to help people lose weight. In fact, there's one study that showed that people that were on a ketogenic diet lost 5 pounds more than another group that was on a low-fat diet after 6 months. So there is things that the ketogenic diet does to help you lose weight. Another mechanism that helps you is really for your body to convert that energy from the fat into ketones. It actually requires more work. So your metabolism actually is increased when it's switched to a ketogenic diet. So when you're in that ketosis, your body's having to work harder to generate that kind of equivalent energy, if you will. Another thing, since you're consuming high fats and high proteins, that really has an effect on your appetite. These macros really are kind of appetite suppressants, so you feel full longer, and so you often will end up eating less when you're on a ketogenic diet, and that's because of the high fat and high protein intake. So that's kind of how it relates to weight loss, but there's some other benefits, and one of those other benefits is how it relates to cancer, both prevention and treatment. And one of the things that we're learning is the impact insulin has on you. So as your body uses glucose as its energy source, you're basically really dependent on insulin. But as your body switches to ketosis or keto, then your insulin levels will go down. And there was a recent study in 2018 that basically insulin may have shown to be linked to some cancer. So lower insulin levels may actually help prevent some types of cancer and even slow down other cancer growth. So one of the mechanisms is really that oxidative stress. So they've actually, another study found that it may actually be complementary in treating cancer with chemotherapy. And what happens is the cancer cells are more susceptible to that oxidative stress. And so, and what happens is those cells die quicker and easier when they're in this kind of that ketosis environment. But obviously, this is an area that more research needs to be done. Another area that a ketogenic diet may help is polycystic ovarian syndrome. This is kind of a hormonal disorder that causes kind of excess male hormones. You'll have abnormal ovulation, you have the polycystic ovaries, and really this condition is associated with high levels of insulin. So high carbohydrate diet in people with PCOS can really lead to adverse effects, such as skin problems, weight gain. But the ketogenic diet may actually help control these conditions because it requires you to eat small amounts of the carbohydrates, which will reduce your insulin levels. So there's not, a lot of studies on this, but there was a 24-week study that showed that the ketogenic diet helped improve several markers of PCOS, like weight loss, insulin levels, hormone imbalance, kind of the ratio of luteinizing to follicular stimulating hormones. So there is some good hope that a ketogenic diet may be beneficial with people that suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome. So another area that the ketogenic diet may be beneficial is brain function protection. So there are some studies that suggest that as you generate these ketones, They may have a neuroprotective benefit. And what that means is it will help prevent or manage neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. But again, this is something that's still being investigated. One of the most well-known benefits of a ketogenic diet is in the treatment of epilepsy. This is something that's been known for years, that there are certain seizures that respond well to a ketogenic diet, meaning that it reduces the amount of seizures patients have when they're on a ketogenic diet. And that's actually where a ketogenic diet probably really stemmed from originally, was in the treatment of seizures. Well, let's talk about the ketogenic diet and its impact on your heart. So, it can benefit your heart because you're eating more healthy fats. But again, it depends on, it's not just saying, hey, eat more fat, but you really want to focus on eating healthy fats such as avocado and really avoiding those unhealthy fats. And this can help improve your total cholesterol levels. In fact, there was a 2017 study that showed that on a keto diet you can significantly reduce your total cholesterol and your LDLs, which is the bad cholesterols, and actually increase your HDLs, which is the good cholesterol. Now, again, this is important. This is greatly affected by what you're removing from your diet. So you're removing sugars, basically. So if you eat a lot of processed stuff, you're removing bad things. That's going to help you. And then you got to make sure you're substituting, if you're eating the fats, that you're eating healthy fats. And so you can be on a ketogenic diet, and your food selection, it can be horrible, and you're going to have bad consequences versus these good consequences. So your food selection is still really, really important. The ketogenic diet's impact on diabetes, or probably more importantly to say on pre-diabetic, it can be helpful because you're consuming less sugars, therefore you're going to have less insulin, you're transitioning to ketone formation, and that's going to help kind of stabilize your insulin level better and help prevent diabetes. I'll talk a little bit more about people that have diabetes and the ketogenic diet, because that is a group of people that you'd want to be very cautious in. Another benefit, though, of ketogenic diet is related to acne. Acne has been linked to diets with elevated blood sugars. And so if you're eating a lot of processed or refined carbohydrates, that may cause your blood sugar levels to rise and fall considerably. So you kind of have this ups and downs in your carbohydrate. And that can really be disturbing to a lot of things, but it can really have an impact on your gut bacteria. So that really can have an unfavorable effect on your skin. So a ketogenic diet may actually help stabilize this and help reduce acne symptoms. So those are kind of the good things of the ketogenic diet, but obviously there's always two sides of a coin. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the kind of the risks associated with the ketogenic diet. Like I said, there's many health benefits, but staying on this diet for a long time can increase some risk of other health problems, such as heart disease. And that comes from kind of the fats you're eating. So if you're eating unhealthy fats, you're actually promoting heart disease. So again, as I said already, the ketogenic diet, it's substituting fat for carbohydrate, but that quality of fat is really, really important. And if you're picking fats that are the bad fats, you're actually going to promote heart disease versus help it. The next thing to be concerned about is nutritional deficiencies, because obviously you're removing a lot of food groups from your diet, your fruits, vegetables, your whole grains, and that can leave you a risk for both vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So some of the key micronutrients that might be missed out are vitamin B, vitamin C, magnesium, phosphorus. So nutrient problems can be something you have to address when you're on a ketogenic diet. Another potential problem is liver problems. Your liver is responsible for this fat metabolism, and as you're on a keto diet, your liver is going to really be charged with this extra fat load and kind of put it under additional strain. And if you have any underlying liver problems, this can be a real problem for you. Also along these lines are kidney problems, kind of a similar mechanism, however, it's related to protein, kind of a large protein load really kind of strains the kidneys, and any underlying kidney problems, this can be detrimental for you. So these are some of the potential health risks associated with the ketogenic diet. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of the adverse effects of a ketogenic diet. So, when you start a ketogenic diet, you're going to experience some kind of side effects, if you will, because your body's adjusting to this new energy source, and this can take a few weeks. And often they refer to this as the keto flu. So one of the big adverse effects of ketogenic diet is constipation. When you're removing all your fruits and vegetables and things like that, things that have a lot of carbohydrates, you're also probably removing a lot of fiber, and so that's going to lead to constipation. Another thing is kind of brain fog. They talk about your brain is used to using glucose to function well, and as you remove those carbohydrates, your consumption, your brain can become more confused because it's having a harder time getting the energy source. So this can lead to fatigue and headaches, nausea, vomiting, and low exercise tolerance. Now, so this is all kind of referred to the keto flu, and it's just something that if you can get through it, then your body will adapt, and these symptoms often will kind of improve. But it is something you need to be aware of. But now there are people that really should avoid a ketogenic diet. Despite the fact there are beneficial health benefits, there are people that I would say you should avoid the ketogenic diet. And the first one is anyone that suffers from any eating disorder. You really shouldn't be on a ketogenic diet. And if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you really shouldn't be on a ketogenic diet. If you're an insulin dependent diabetic, you shouldn't be on a ketogenic diet, because this is going to really mess with your diabetes and really can be dangerous to your health. Then obviously, if you have any kidney disease or pancreatic problems, you should avoid a ketogenic diet. Then there are certain medications, so I'd advise you, if you're taking medication, that you talk to your physician about what's the implications of the medication you're on related to a ketogenic diet. So, I think it's important that if you're considering a ketogenic diet, that you get good information out there, whether it's your doctor, or a dietitian, or a nutritionist, but someone to help you on how to really kind of start the ketogenic diet and the things you should work on and watch for, especially if you have any underlying health problems. You really should seek advice and monitoring when you're doing a ketogenic diet. So I think it's important to understand that the ketogenic diet is a good diet for a select group of people. There's lots of people I know that have lots of benefit and weight loss with the ketogenic diet, but also if you're the wrong person for a ketogenic diet, it can really be detrimental to your health. So I would encourage you to investigate it more before you jump on this bandwagon. And then I'd also seek the counsel of a nutritionist or a health coach or someone like that that can make sure that you're doing it to maximize the benefit but reduce any type of risk associated with that. So hope this helps today, on your health and wellness journey. And I just want you to remember, keep plugging away, keep trying, and just remember, you got this. Thank you.